The Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, me like to thank you, Lomaki. Me, I'll be very quick. Usually, I don't stand on my feet in the grievance debates, but I think there's something that I need to point out. Firstly, I want to uh, stand behind Minister for Commerce, Member for Tambul, and offer my apologies to the people of Chimbu if they have been grieved in any way, shape, and form. Every part of our country are important. We all contribute to the country. Chimbu is one of the leading provinces in terms of contribution to human capital in our country. And so if every Chimbu citizens have been offended by this, I do stand behind the minister and affirm the apologies. Minister spoke in private. I think he did told me, as I asked him yesterday, he was misheard. Sometimes your mind says one thing, but your lips say something else. And so to the Chimbu people, in no way, shape, and form, it is intent to offend you. We do apologize. You are a great contributor to human resources. You're a contributor in coffee, cacao. Your Mount William is an important tourist, iconic tourism, inland fisheries. The Highlands Highway runs through you. We also now trying our very best the last 4 or 5 years, spreading money to different sectors for the Karami Road. It is intended from Karami to Gambok and Bundi out to Usino. Remains a strategic intent of government in as far as Connect PNG is concerned. We've invested a little bit in Suave, Erimbari, Nambifa section of the road. And so it just shows how strategic Chimbu plays right in the heart of our country. My own government passed on 5 million kina for the settlement of the water supply. Those Kamaniku tribesmen up there in the mountains, the water issue was a stumbling block before 2019. We passed 5 million around 2019, 2020. The water is now being supplied to Kundia town as we speak. And Kundia Hospital has remained a very central hospital in the heart of our country, serving right across. So we just want to say, Chimbu, you are an important part of us. Myself and the member for Suabe does have some exchange, but that's just part of the game. He sits in the opposite, we sit on this side. And we make sure to take these sort of exchanges. I want to offer counsel to all members of parliament. Let's not personalize exchange on the floor of parliament. Let's rise up and accept debates that rages on in our parliament, because that's what this parliament is all about. On another matter, I just want to offer us counsel to members of parliament. Standing order must be read. And I'm sure, example, I just, nothing against the member for Medang. I have heaps of respect for him. This morning, whether by design or slip of tongue, but he's amongst the most educated in our parliament in terms of law. He knows law better than most. He knows very well that standing order prohibits calling someone who's not on the floor of parliament by name. But he let it slip out of his mouth. And I just want to ask members of parliament, maintain decorum at all times. Our children are watching. Our people are watching. Parliament is a house of people that must carry their heads on a mature shoulder. So let's prescribe to the standing orders of a parliament. If someone's aggrieved, court is the place to go. I also want to ask Mr. Speaker yourself. Let's combine and agree that the Privileges Committee of the Parliament must function, and members of Parliament who abuses the conduct on the floor of Parliament, including abuse to the office of Speaker, the Privileges Committee must be utilized to make referral, and so appropriate warning, appropriate nurturing. And if a serial offender is found in the house, then appropriate penalty can be dispensed in the context. I also want to encourage the country. There are certain places where unaccountability in public verbiage continues to flow. Speaking with no sense of accountability. You look at the U.S., there's more murder happening in New York City at night than the entire country of PNG in a year. 4 murders on average at New York City at night. So, that the #1 business capital of the world, New York City, 4 murders on average at night. But the U.S. media don't go around every now and then promoting the city as a city that matter is happening. Of course, they run the story in terms of free media, but they run it at back page, second page, mid page. And so I just want the country at our 50th to take responsibility of our country. If there is a offense being created by someone in our country, you stand up on the floor of Parliament, you speak on it, but don't just let it waste on the floor of Parliament. Be man enough, submit the report to police, to Ombudsman Commission, to ICAC, to relevant authorities. In the instance of corruption right now, and I want to commend Police Commissioner, under Police Minister, without tampering on the process of appointment, but because of familiar complaints, we decided that overseas person must head the fraud squad. And so today, right now, the anti-fraud squad in police is headed by someone recruited from Australia, if I'm not wrong. And so an international guy, overseas guy, works at the National Fraud Squad. Corruption must be reported. Don't just come to the floor or don't participate in Facebook or those who use Facebook or WhatsApp with no follow-through. Be man enough. If you launch, if you see corruption, write your name behind the complaint, not just reporting on Facebook. Write your name behind the complaint, not just advocating here in Parliament because there's a TV watching you. Write your name behind that complaint. Take it to police. If the police has not responded in a week, follow up again next week. Follow up again following week. Eventually, something will get through. And so I just want to advise every one of us, whether it's corruption or everyday complaint, stand behind. Be man enough, stand behind your complaint. Put your name through the complaint. Police, fraud squad, Ombudsman Commission, ICAC, and for whatever it is worth, we now, the commission and the two deputies were fighting amongst themselves, the ICAC Appointments Committee. Every step, the Transparency International stood with us to go through to make sure that their own complaints were investigated, but the ICAC as an institution functions on. And I just want to advise every one of us, talking on Parliament is one thing, but stand behind your issues, put your name behind it, and let's prosecute any complaints being laid. Well, if it is properly prosecuted, with the right evidence attached, I am 100% certain that eventually the complaint will see light at the end of the tunnel. So let's not just use public spaces for waste and for just airing off. Let's process this through the proper channels. And I want to indicate to this House, the fraud squad is now led by someone from outside of our country. If you cannot get through, and I was hearing someone saying earlier on some matters on land, I think member for Bulolo raised an important pertinent question. I ask every one of us, utilize those key constitutional offices we have and prosecute any wrong you see in our country instead of just using the hot air to get things out. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity.